ever wonder what happened to, I would say, iconic filming locations and set locations, TV shows and cartoons even, like the Amazing World of Gumball to Drake and Josh and Malcolm in the Middle even. Some of them were even destroyed, remodeled, or just flat out like erased from existence, made out to seem like they never existed. Here are the, how would I say, iconic filming set in 2024, 5-ish, but you get the point now. The one thing I remember from the theme song, which is also awesome by the way, what's the name of the anime guy at the beginning? I always wondered. My cousins and sister loved this show a lot, and I'm pretty sure at least some of you guys did and do as well. Frankie Muniz has, like, you know how there's like a baby face? Well, Frankie Muniz, I always thought had like the exact opposite. He has like an adult face. Like his face hasn't changed since he was a child. First thing I remember after rewatching this with my sister a couple years ago. Ever wondered what happened to the house? Let me actually center. Oh god, the original house was actually filmed in Contura Street in Studio City, California, which is where I live. Wow. And for the longest time, even after the show ended a little bit, this house got remodeled and looks a little bit different by 2008 with a blue paint job and a slightly more modern architecture job, more akin to what was, I guess, common at the time. Pretty bland if you ask me, but yeah, it stayed like that for the longest time too. Until 2011, when it got completely demolished and remade into a boring fucking just cubicle future house with ultra modern architecture, as they call it. The same architecture that can be seen in places like Doha, Qatar, and Hong Kong. You know, by itself, the house doesn't look bad, but like, think about it really. It came, this is the Malcolm in the Middle house. The same Malcolm in the Middle all those years ago, and I'm pretty sure gave people memories from all across the world. It has nothing to do with it, but I still think that's crazy. The house looks smaller too, even though they destroyed it. Is that just me? Anyways, I could probably even drive to this place. If this video gets 500 likes, I'll do it. But I don't care either way, I mean, it's not that big. Here's a picture of it. So, yeah, that's really all that needs to be said. Moving on. The Amazing World of Gumball. The most unique and best, or at the very least one of the best Cartoon Network shows to stand the test of time, because it's basically the only thing that airs on the fucking thing now, if anything. But you know what's weird? As a kid and even as a teen, and I guess now even as an adult, watching the show and rewatching the show, the show always had like this weird sense of nostalgia, warm nostalgia around it because of the look of the show. I don't know what it was, but then it hit me. Because the backgrounds are taken from buildings and houses from places in Vallejo, California. My hometown! And like basically all of these. I don't know why California out of all of them. But then again, California's a really big state. So yeah, you know, most people know where the house was. You know, in fact, if you go there in person, most people say it's actually really just hyped up to be not as impressive. But it's more often smaller and just blends in with all the other houses. But still cool to know. But I want to talk about the school in the show. Did you know that the school was actually taken from a school in California called Lincoln Elementary School? Though Drake and Josh, and really all of Dan Schneider's shows as a whole, have been ruined, and will most likely, if anything, only continue to be tainted by Dan Schneider's dark past, or whatever the fuck is going on at Nickelodeon, or was at the time. Let's just talk about something not controversial, at least I think, revolving Nickelodeon, and that's the Drake and Josh house, which was actually filmed again in California, my hometown. This one is also a little bit more known, so I won't spend too much time on it, but long story short, once the show ended, the house stayed for a little bit, returned to the Drake and Josh house, which was still in pretty, you know, retro and set condition. But a couple years later, it was demolished. In 2018, a year after, it was demolished to again take the same fate as many other on this list and become a modern house with all its soul and character. Basically, history sucked out of it. Pretty funny that it was actually filmed in Encino, like they said. I used to think San Diego was like above fucking San Francisco. I was pretty stupid back in the day. By the way, I was in 11th grade when I thought that. I was really